So we'll start where you started, down the target line. Okay, so 12 years old, we would not be doing the right thing by not trying to give you as good a setup as possible, even though the setup isn't really what's causing you to hit behind the ball. Okay, so let's take a look at an example of a tour player right next to you. Okay, let's see who we can find here. Let's go ahead and we're going to bring up Adam Scott. The fact that he's a guy and you're a girl doesn't matter. Okay, what I want you to notice here is, one, he's got really good posture. So if I draw that line from the back of his neck down to his tailbone, you can see that he's in a neutral spine angle. So if he were to stand up, if he were to stand up straight, right, all of his bending from his upper body is purely his hips, and his back is staying pretty much the same relative to his hips. Does that make sense? Okay. And you're doing great too with that. Okay. Next thing is, his hands are located pretty much straight down below his shoulders.
I've heard that, like, I've seen people do it where in their setup,
Uh-huh.
they have to make sure that when they put their hand up here, that it's this distance.
Okay. So that's what if somebody has a different size hand than the next person?
Well, it would be their own, because that's, like, depending on, I guess, the length of their arm.
Let's look at it a different way. Okay. If I draw a line from your shoulder straight down, right? So that would be having your hands hanging straight down. Okay. So what I really like to talk about specifically what you want to do, and try to stay away from any sort of a explanation or a goal that has a variable that could be a little bit off. Now, the whole thing about thinking about a hand in between, somebody came up with that for whatever reason, because for an average person it probably makes sense, but you have some people that are really, really, like with a big belly hanging out or something like that, they might be different, right? So we're going to try to stay away from that. We're going to go just hanging them straight down. Make sense? Yeah? You good with that? Yeah? Okay. All right. So we would love to see your hands hang straight down from your shoulders. Notice also that the shaft of his club points right at his belt line and forms really close to a 90-degree angle right through the center of his torso. So I go right to the center of his body here like that. See how that forms almost a 90-degree angle through the center of his body? We like that because when we go to make a golf swing, wouldn't it be nice if we could just turn our shoulders back, turn them through, and have the club swing right around our body? Then when we set up to a shot that's like a driver where it's a longer club, all we do is we start to get a sense of, okay, arms hanging straight down, and that shaft pretty much, you start to get used to that shaft being 90 degrees to your spine. When I say 90 degrees, does that click with you? Okay. 90 degrees to your spine, and you start to get a handle on that. And then when you make your golf swing, you don't have to think, oh, I have to swing differently for a flat driver versus an upright wedge, meaning a long shafted driver versus a short shafted wedge. You're just getting used to turning back and turning through. Okay, so I would really love to see your hands just closer to your body, which would make it a lot easier to get the butt end of the club pointing up where your belt would be. Almost. Almost. Now, conceptually, just something that I find interesting is when you look at the way Adam Scott is set up, when people try to think what makes sense to me, like what intuitively should I be doing when I set up, most people get the sense that the club should extend out of your arm and be a straight line straight down. But that's not really what we want. We want to have that little hinge there, like that. Like Adam Scott has that hinge, as you can see. And you may have thought a little more along the other lines or something like that. The other thing is, your clubs, if they fit you, won't sole perfectly on the ground at setup. The toe will be slightly raised. So if you look at the way your club is set up, if you took your shaft of your iron and you made it a little bit flatter this way, the toe of your club would come up a little bit. And that's how it should be. And so let's take a look at Adam Scott swinging his club for a second. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on the toe of his club. See how it's up off the ground a little bit there, right? Well, let's go ahead and put a line reminding us where he is at setup and where his hands are at setup. Okay? Let's look at impact. His hands are actually higher at impact as he turns through. That brings the toe of the club down and gives him good contact. So it's perfectly fine to have the toe of the club sitting up a little bit. And it almost always is when someone addresses a ball who's doing it fundamentally soundly. Right? Good. So that's the main thing I want to talk about as far as this point of view. Okay? I'm going to send this to you so you can practice the setup in the house, and we're going to work on it again. So you're going to get a bunch of videos.
Be sure to check out our YouTube channel for more instructional videos.